Well, I'm not quite sure to your assessment that a drill, a military action, a military message will be what brings Iran to the table. I think perhaps knowing the way the Iranian regime operates, perhaps it will even lead it to more escalatory steps than what we're seeing now. But
so then my question would be, why is the U.S. then taking part?
Because we were talking, as talks were stalled and going on in Vienna on and off, 8 rounds, 9 rounds so far, they're stalled at the moment. And we were asking what can Israel do to try and influence the talks or the outcome, and also if there is a deal or no deal, what would be a plan B? So I think what we're seeing now, it started in recent weeks and months with other meetings, high-level meetings between Israeli and American officials. Now I think we're seeing the next step with Gantz's trip to Washington. We're definitely seeing this plan B put into place. The military option appears to be back on the table, and if this report of the U.S. participating in the Israeli drill, which is part of the wider scale Chariots of Fire drill that's going on these days, I think it's a very significant signal from Washington that it's not waiting idly by to see whether these talks will resume, won't resume, that the ball is not in the Iranian regime's court. And in fact, as one of the U.S.'s main allies in the region, Israel gears up for this potential preparation for a military solution or option for the Iranian nuclear program. The U.S. is definitely getting a seat at the table.
So let's talk about the Iranian nuclear program. And yesterday we hear again the same Minister of Defense, Benny Gantz, warning that Iran is very close to a bomb. Honestly, Ariel, I cannot hear these words any longer, because we hear them every couple of weeks from a different official, whether in Israel or in Washington. Are the Iranians really that close to creating a bomb, or is the timeline a bit different to what's communicated to the public?
Yeah, so it's very important. I think the details here are very specific, because when Defense Minister Gantz says that Iran is, quote, a few weeks away from accumulating sufficient fissile material for a bomb, that does not mean that in a few weeks from now Iran will have a nuclear bomb. That is not the case. What the situation is, that in terms of how much enriched uranium they have, they are a few weeks away, or if they decide to, it will take them a few weeks to reach enough material to prepare it in a way that could be sufficient for a bomb. But there are many other elements needed for a bomb that are not just the fissile material. And so it's important to state that Iran is not a few weeks from a bomb right now. It's closer to a few months or a year. And also, if we're looking at Israel's military option, Israeli military officials are saying that there are many different options on the table, but even the simplest option will take a year for Israel to be ready to meet the requirements for the simplest option for Iran. Yes, and so we are, Gantz said yesterday also that now in a year from now it will be more difficult to act against Iran's military program than it is now, and so I think he's establishing some form of timeline